All right. Welcome into this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast. Corey Moen, Evan Bernd. Evan, how we doing?
Doing well. Getting busy, but no, it's a good time of year right now.
That's true. We got opening day. We're just a few short days away.
3 more days, 2 exhibition games today, and then a real game on Thursday.
Oh, hey, it's going to be obviously Milwaukee plays on Thursday. Jacob Mizorowski is going to open up the Brewers' young phenom against, I believe it's Shane Smith, who actually used to be a former Brewer as well, pitcher for the White Sox. And, you know, hopefully I can get to the game on Saturday. That's kind of what I was planning on. But, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for baseball to be here once again. But enough of that.
Get to the Bucks.
Let's get to the Bucks. They finally won a basketball game on Saturday.
That they did.
Which, I'm going to be honest, I think there was a lot of Bucks fans concerned about that because they're like, all right, well, the Bucks have been losing so many games. I hope they don't go on what somebody called a counterproductive win streak that'll just screw them over like in the lottery.
Because that would be the Bucks thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a lot of inexplicable things. Devin Booker couldn't hit a shot. And then, you know, nobody else really did anything. Like the Suns, like Jalen Green was... You know, nobody else really was had a good game. Ryan Rollins hit a big shot late, who's, you know, he's really come on this year. That's a building block you're going to use for the future. But, I mean, you know, finally get a win. It's their second win in March. What did you see from their performance against Phoenix on Saturday?
No, I really liked their bounce back second quarter. After scoring only 15 in the first, they came back and scored 42. Again, just another obscure thing for them to do itself. But no, my biggest kind of takeaway, obviously, again, Giannis pretty much out for the season. Kyle Kuzma, I felt like was their most productive guy. Felt like he was him and Ryan Rollins. I felt like they were comfortable out on the floor, being able to run the offense, kind of really allowing everyone to kind of chip in. It wasn't very top heavy. Few guys just under 10, but no, I felt... Again, a very weird connection based for this game as well. Again, hopefully you can do that and still lose. But no, I really liked his productivity again with Rollins. Again, he has been someone who I feel like is not being talked about enough. Like on his almost triple doubles, he's there, but he almost misses a triple double quite often. But he's been one of our leading rebounders, I feel like, throughout the season. And again, assists are 7 to 9 usually each time. But no, he's been great. And I feel like it's going to be him and a few other guys on the roster, and then they're going to just completely refresh. But no, I really like him, and I feel like he's going to get talked about most improved player this year. And but no, I just felt like they were able to just lock up a lot of these guys. Again, Jalen Green's Jalen Green. He'll take a lot of shots. Same with Devin Booker, no matter how many he makes. But no, I just felt like they had total control after that first quarter and just really was able to hold it down near the end.
Yeah, and, you know, Ryan Rollins has received a lot of praise from other players around the league. Okay, I think Tyrese Maxey was on a podcast about a month or two ago, and he was talking about how great Ryan Rollins has been. And, you know, I agree. I mean, the last year Ryan Rollins wasn't known as an offensive player. He was he could maybe stop, he was more or less known as a defensive stopper. And, you know, this year it's evident that he spent all summer in the gym, working on his game, working to improve. And, you know, he's been Milwaukee's one of Milwaukee's best players this year. Okay. Along with guys like KPJ, I will throw on that list. I know he's been hurt for the most part, and, you know, we'll see if he gets shut down. But, you know, it's been KPJ, it's been Rollins, it's been BP. BP's actually had a really solid year. And, you know, that's what Milwaukee needs to do, because we don't know where the Bucks and Giannis is headed. I know you mentioned earlier that he's likely out for the year. Don't tell Giannis that, because he will do every single thing in his power to play again this season.
Yeah.
And I know what the fans are saying. I know what the fans want to do. It's just shut him down. Just why does he want to play? Dude, here's what people need to understand. Okay, this is Giannis's makeup. This has nothing to do with And again, this is a professional athlete's makeup in general. It's like nobody really wants to sit out and miss games and stuff like that. And I know Giannis for a fact doesn't want to end on my team forced me to not play.
Correct.
So I mean, look, keep in mind, this guy played like for a second tier team in Greece in a hot ass gym. Of course he wants to play. Like, that's all he wants to do. This guy lives and breathes basketball. So, I've said this before. Milwaukee needs to tread carefully when you tell Giannis that he needs to sit because, I know it ended up not being like this, but this could end up being like a Max Crosby situation for Las Vegas, even though he's going to be back with the Raiders, where it's like, oh, you're going to force me to sit? Trade me. I don't want to be here. Yeah, if you guys don't want me to play, if you guys don't want me to play, you're forcing me to sit, even though when I'm fully healthy, I don't want to be here. And so, again, this summer they need to make sure that the relationship between Giannis and the organization is kosher. Like, you cannot have bad feelings going into this. All right, and really the one part that I'm worried about is who our current owners are. All right, Jimmy Haslam. I'm worried about that. I'm worried he's going to screw it up because he signed Deshaun Watson to a big ass contract, and him being like trying to be the main driver of these potential talks scares the crap out of me. All right, like we better go like through every single channel that he needs to have in order to make a good trade. Because I swear to God, if Milwaukee doesn't get if Milwaukee gets crappy value for this, if this is another Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade, I swear to you, you're going to see a lot of fans jumping ship. All right? Now, there's some diehards like you and I, okay? Some people on Bucks Twitter who they'll never jump ship, ever. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, these people who are spoiled, who are just love the Bucks based on Giannis, who Giannis is, and his makeup, they're going to jump ship. Okay? Like, I'll tell you this right now. There was a lot of people who bandwagoned off the Bucks, like, once they got Giannis. So, like, once Giannis really started to become good, you could tell there were some fans who were like, oh, my God, we better fan for you. No. If you weren't watching during, like, the Andrew Bogut and, like, the EG on the on days, I don't want to hear it. So, again, they got to be careful. They have to tread carefully on what they have to do.
Yeah, and it hasn't been like a lot, but I've read a little bit of have the Bucks kind of missed out on trading Giannis earlier, just with like potential. Again, now you're playing injury factor with everything. Are you going to lose a little bit of value for it? Again, I don't really see it as much. People are still going to trade top notch for him no matter what, but it could have a little bit of effect just based off of, especially this year with injuries and then the end of last season as well in the playoffs. But no, if they are not extending him, this has to be the most perfect trade, even if it takes all the way to September. It has to be perfect. Otherwise, yeah, there's, again, no point in doing it.
You can't rush a decision like this.
Correct.
And even Wes Edens came out and was like, look, either he's going to accept our extension or we're going to trade him. That's about it. We're not going to have a guy playing on his final year. And that's not even just a Giannis thing. He said that's like any person in the organization playing on this team type of thing.
Which is
we're not going to have a guy. It's like, oh, is Giannis going to sign? Is Giannis going to resign? Look, that is a crappy thing. I agree with him from a business side of it. That is a crappy thing to have, where you don't want a guy going into your final year and then you just lose him for nothing. Yep. You don't want that, and it is a crappy thing to have happen because those questions, like if the Bucks would allow that to happen, dude, Shams and Windy would be all over it. Okay, it would be leading. Like, get up every morning. If Giannis is in his final year and, like, every little comment, every little, nugget, that's going to be used for, like, social media clicks and, people might take it out of context. So, again, I agree with him from that side. You can't have a guy go in his final year and, just not get anything for him if he leaves. Okay? See Kevin Durant. When he didn't re-sign with the Thunder, he was going into his final year and – they just lost it for nothing. So you can't have that.
Again, that's very like Brewer heavy wise, trading guys before they're kind of done, which again, it helps because you get the value out of it. But yeah, if if you're going to your final year and you're not trading him at the trade deadline, or if he hasn't extended already, I feel like you just might as well do it during the summer. And obviously there's been rumors with like Bucks were looking to trade him at the deadline, or like I think it was Edgecombe from the Sixers, Evan Mobley. My like only thing is like with anything in particular for that, it's like great now. Like I would love VJ Edgecombe on the team. Do not get me wrong, but like I hate Philly to see him just like potentially end his career in Philly. Like it would be hard to see, but it's like, what are you kind of able to get out of it? Does that just automatically make them a title contender? Who knows? Because Embiid is always hurt too, and you got Tyrese Maxey carrying everyone. So I don't know. It's a weird predicament.
Yeah, and my only thought is the reason why they denied that trade was maybe they might like do it down the road. Who knows? But I think the reason why they denied it at the time was, well, at the time, like we still consider these guys our building blocks for the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why would we trade away Evan Mobley, who I believe 2024 or last year, I forget which year it was, won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey, that backcourt has been really revitalized to where Philly's going to the playoffs this year. And, after being so bad last year, that's a building block for them. So why would they give that up for Giannis? And the other thing, too, is Giannis and Embiid, people might look at it and be like, oh, my God, that's going to be such a good team. Dude, you know how much the spacing is going to be messed up on that team? Like those two guys, like Embiid would basically need to get out of the paint for Giannis to be able to operate.
And he already hovers the 3-point line quite often.
Yeah, like so it would just be it's a weird fit. I don't know if I like the fit there to where if I didn't think both guys needed the ball, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, it's gonna work. But it's like Giannis would probably need to take a step back, which I think he can do because I think Giannis is a really good passer. It's just they need space to operate, and you're giving up. Honestly, the other thing you're giving up is shooting. Giannis is still not a great shooter, and he could still. And I think the other thing too, obviously the injury history, right? Can he stay healthy? Now look, granted, the last two injuries have been, the non-contact ones with the soleus strain. The other one, the last one against the Pacers, he just landed wrong, right? I think he spun off Jay Huff, he dunked it, and then he just landed awkwardly.
Yep, it's all just been the inconvenient or unfortunate injuries, not just getting knocked over or anything like that.
Yeah, and I understand it where people are like, oh my God, you can't stay healthy. But dude, what do you do with a calf strain? Right? Like I think we can all agree with coming back from his first soleus strain, he came back too early. All right, I think we can all agree. He came back a little earlier than he should have. And we got hurt. And that's unfortunate. So and then looking at it from the Cavs, okay? Number one, the Cavs love building top-heavy rosters. I've never met an organization more who likes building top-heavy rosters more than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, they always want to get guys like, oh my God, we got James Harden, we got Donovan Mitchell, we got like Jared Allen. It's like, well, who else do you have? All right, Sam Merrill. Okay, you got rid of Isaac Okoro. The Lonzo Ball deal didn't work, so it's like, all right, who else do you have?
Yep,
because there's a long history of James Harden not getting it done in the playoffs. And, for some reason, these teams keep trading for James Harden as if they're going to fix him. In the playoffs, he hasn't been a good playoff performer throughout his career. That's an interesting thing to be like, all right, well, maybe we'll just switch conferences. Huh. Well, let's see this. So when he was in Brooklyn, he didn't really get it done. He got hurt in like 2 minutes into game one back in 2020 against Milwaukee. Like, it doesn't matter where it is. It's the only consistence the player. James Harden is not a good playoff performer. Okay, he needs other guys to carry him. And I don't know if that's Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if that's Jared Allen. I don't know if that's Sam Merrill. I don't know if that's Max Strus. I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns there. But I can tell you this. It's not going to be Harden who's going to be getting it done for you. Like, I'm just saying, it's just like there's a long history of James Harden just putting together these playoff performances. Like when you need him the most too. And even a couple years ago, Evan, like in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semis, against Boston. Put together another performance. Him and Embiid both. Just yuck. Just the worst playoff performances ever. So, you have to be prepared for that. Like, you have to guard against oh shoot. James Harden again just can't get it done. Let's see. I think we all right, I think we discussed the disconnect, right? I think we talked about the deal. There was one thing I did see. The last thing that I saw was ESPN put together this list of the top 10 worst transactions in the NBA this season. Evan, the number one on this list, waiving and stretching Damian Lillard to sign Miles Turner. And I didn't want to just look at, how Miles Turner had been. I didn't want a box score watch, but I just looked at it and I was like, but I'm thinking about it, I'm like, Miles Turner still shoots the three at a solid rate, right? He still shoots it at a 38%. So the shooting really hasn't dipped any, really. I think all his other numbers are down, right? I think from last year in Indy to where he was shooting 48% to now he's shooting 44% from the field. So that's dipped. And, honestly, when I'm watching the box scores, there's a lot of single performances here.
Mm-hmm.
And Milwaukee has to look at it and be like, that's unacceptable for a guy we're paying over $170 million for to put together what you like to call concert dates.
Yep.
You're putting together these single performances. Okay, that's unacceptable. You can't have that. So, I mean, what is your thought? Do you think that is the worst deal in the NBA this season?
I mean, the only thing is that he was hurt. Lillard was hurt. He was going to be out the whole year. Again, he still somehow came in and won the 3-point contest, but I haven't been following the Trailblazers this year. I don't think he still has played. It's like, what were you going to do with your superstar point guard out for the entire season? And then now he's coming back next season, a year older, and a torn ACL later. It's like, if you're able to do it and get something out of it, you might as well just kind of make the trigger. I get it's just always one of those things where if it's a different team, do they also get that same treatment, or is it just more hate on the Bucks? No, it's unfortunate that had to happen, but you're going to be paying him whether he's not on the team like he is right now, or he is, but he's out the entire year. I don't know. It's not like Miles Turner has been just piss poor and has done nothing to contribute this year, which he has. He's, again, kind of started out a little slow, but has games. So, it's not as good as others, but he still has. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where they needed a center. They lost Brook Lopez, and you got essentially the highest market value out there. I mean, it was either him. I'm blanking on the name, but went to the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton. It's either him or Ayton, which were the top two guys, and he's been horrible this year. I don't know. It's one of those things where, again, it's what are you going to do with the guy who's injured? You can either wave him off and send him to a new team, or keep him, sit on the bench for the entire season hurt, and then come back again next year post-injury. And you never know what it's going to be like. He could re-injure it. He could just not be the same as much anymore, but I don't know. I'd say it to the naked eye, it probably seems like a bad transaction, but you're looking at it on a business standpoint, and essentially you're just down a guy on that year, and what are you going to sign a not so good backup point guard just in case with Ryan, if Ryan Rounds doesn't produce this year how he is, or Kevin Porter Jr. didn't produce, again, now you're out 2 point guards essentially. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a bad transaction. It's just one of those where it's essentially kind of had to be done, or there's a reasoning behind as to why they made that move.
And my thing with that is, there's a lot of people in the NBA media who were just who loved the DeAndre Ayton signing. Oh my gosh, DeAndre Ayton at the Lakers with Luka and LeBron. He has accepted his role. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, DeAndre Ayton has publicly complained about his role this season. He said, "Oh, they want me to be like Clint Capella." Well, Clint Capella is like actually a better player than you are right now. So, like, if you could get up to Clint Capella, that would be great. But DeAndre Ayton, like, there was and I've said that I said it over the summer, Evan. I was like, Miles Turner is a better player than DeAndre Ayton is. It's not even funny. It's not even close. DeAndre Ayton, okay, is on his third team. All right, he could have been a building block for the Suns, but obviously he was, he didn't. There was times where his effort was questioned, and him and Monty Williams got into it in the last playoff game against Dallas. I mean, look, all those things were out there. I think what people are missing with Brook Lopez being gone, and I get it, Brook Lopez is getting older. So again, you don't want to keep Brook Lopez your center for the next 8 years. You don't want to re-sign him knowing that he could still hit shots, but he was like, but I don't even know I haven't even heard a peep out of him in LA this year.
Yeah, I just know he had like a 9 3-point game. Cool, but he's not doing that every game, and you're going to need the other aspect of a center too.
Yeah, and again, I think the biggest thing that I miss for Brook Lopez not being there is the defensive impact, because Miles Turner, he can block shots. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's got like the fourth most blocks, fourth or third most blocks in the NBA over a stretch of time. But I mean, honestly, that's all he could do though, because if you notice these other teams, the opponent gets a lot more offensive rebounds when Turner and Porter are out on the floor. Brook Lopez, like, I've never seen so many teams get so many offensive rebounds against Milwaukee than this season. It is maddening that these teams are getting second or third or fourth chances because nobody's boxing out, nobody's putting in the requisite effort to rebound the basketball. And, Miles Turner he can block shots, but that's really all he can do. He is not a stopper. He's not I don't consider him like a defensive presence, like a low post presence, same akin to like Rudy Gobert. I don't consider him to be like that, where he can just go up and just not get all these second chance opportunities. Not like that. And I think that's where the frustration lies. He's still shooting fine, but I just think that people are looking at it like, you can't be putting together 8 points and be making $170 million.
Yeah.
So that also could be, and here's the other thing. It could also be on the coach too. It could also be on Doc Rivers for not getting him as involved in the offensively. That was a weird way to say it, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Miles Turner has been as involved in the offense as he should be. Sometimes it feels like, all right, just stand out and like shoot a 3.
Yep.
And it feels like, Miles Turner could also, he could be dominant from within the paint too. Like, he could draw fouls, he could do all that stuff. So maybe they're asking him to play a weird role. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think his numbers could be better. And I think they'll probably bring him back next year. He's making $170 million.
Yeah. He's not.
It will be a tough decision to make because I think it could be Giannis, it could be Miles Turner. But I think if you get a new coach, all right, and if you get Giannis back, that's something to build with. But then you have to like do everything else well too. Like, you got some building blocks there, but you got to build on those building blocks. Okay, you got Ryan Rollins. I know AJ Green's received some criticism for not shooting the ball particularly well this year, and he's been so poor shooting the ball that they took him out of the lineup for a number of games. I believe he's back in.
Yeah.
And you just gotta, you just have to see like what they got. I think they're gonna be able to draft somebody. I don't know who, but everybody's like, oh, Giannis could leave if they do. Well, dude, they're losing by damn near 30 to the Jazz. I don't know how you look at it for Giannis' perspective and be like, this team is going somewhere, or we could work with this. If you're losing by the worst teams in the Western and Eastern Conference, I don't know what more to tell you. This is just not a good basketball team.
Yeah, they get smoked by the Jazz, but then they're beating the Suns, or they're holding it the entire game with the Cavs. It's like, what are we doing over here? What is the I don't know. I don't know at this point. But no, it's again with the aspect of trading Giannis or like whether he extends. If hypothetically, let's say he extends, again, I feel like it's just you're gonna have to pick your 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys who you're like kind of keeping or like are going to be that building block. And right now, I just don't know if you're going to want to trade Miles Turner, especially just after year 1 with that. But you got to figure out he only took 3 shots against the Suns and he played 21 minutes. So it's like there are 3 guys on the bench who played more than him. And it's like he's starting. I don't know. They're not using him correctly. And I feel like that's definitely a coaching thing. It's not just like a him where it's like, yeah, I just want to take 3 shots and play 21 minutes and call it a day. But no, I feel like again, you have Miles Turner rounds, obviously Giannis throwing. I personally would keep Jericho Sims. I don't know about anyone else, but I think, again, he's a good guy to have on the bench. And then Dieng, maybe you throw in, obviously, AJ Green too. Maybe there's like 5 or 6 guys. I'd say half the roster. We'll do that. We'll say half the roster. And then everyone else you can dump it, just kind of refresh with them. Just trade for younger guys and see how it goes. Take a year or 2 and then kind of be back. If, again, you keep them. But otherwise, yeah, no, if you're making a trade, you are making the best trade physically possible.
But by the way, I released this as kind of a mean-spirited video. I posted a video called Jericho Sims Illegal Screen Compilation because it was so funny. Dude, he was crushing guys on those damn screens. Quick shout-out. Cormac Ryan actually got in the game the other night against Utah Jazz, and he scored his first NBA points, so shout-out Cormac. Outside of that, Evan, do you have anything else?
No, again, there's, I think, 6 home games left out of their 12 remaining games. So we're getting close again, kind of month-ish left in the season, and it'll be a big off season. So yeah, we're counting the days down to that summer work, see what happens.
Yep. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast, and we'll see you guys next week.